Hello everyone and welcome to What's in this week's Oban Times, or as we like to call it, Wit What, with me Jodie Hagan.
Me Sandy Neal.
Me Owen Wild.
And me Kathy Griffiths.
As always, we have a range of interesting stories for you to read in the paper or online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk. We always love hearing your stories and seeing your photographs, so keep on getting in touch by emailing editor@obantimes.co.uk, calling us on 01631 568 000, or getting in touch on our social platforms including Facebook and X, formerly Twitter. Now Sandy, you're up first. What have you been looking into this week?
Thank you very much, Jodie. Well, the floor is mine. A petition urging Argyll and Bute Council to ditch its proposed visitor levy has drawn over 1,000 signatures. We speak to many business owners and islanders who have all raised concerns about this new scheme. Kilcreggan Pier and Clachan Bridge have been among the locations in Argyll used for major film and TV productions this year. You can read all about that. 6 Hebridean projects will share £1.3 million from the Carbon Neutral Island Scheme, alongside financial boosts for Gaelic education and culture. And another petition is urging the Scottish Government to take the high road by the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. You can read all about that in this week's paper. Jodie, back to you.
Thanks, Sandy. Now, Owen, you have a new development for us about a much-loved Oban store.
Yes, thanks very much, Jodie. So, after Homebase entered administration, many in Oban hoped that the range would buy the local store. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. The store will remain open until it has sold all its current stock, but it needs to find a buyer as soon as possible. Argyll police officer Sally Ann Nicole has been nominated for an award for her bravery during the landslides of Storm Babbitt last year, risking her life to save others. The north-south divide in smart meters has hit Mull hard, and one campaigner has said that on the islands, it's like a 2-tier system. Some have been waiting upwards of 3 years for a meter, and others have been entirely denied one. Hear from them and find out why in this week's Oban Times. And it's all over for the Hebridean Isles. The ferry is retiring after nearly 40 years serving our islands. Glen Sannox has just been handed over to Calmac to replace her, and will begin carrying passengers in January. And we have a great tribute to the iconic Heb Isles from Calmac in this week's paper for your reading pleasure.
Thanks for that, Owen. Now, Kathy, what do you have for us this week?
A charity's Christmas tree made out of donated creels for this year's Oban Winter Festival is being turned into a community work of art. The Tree of Towering Creels in Stafford Street has branched out by inviting townspeople to add their own decorations and lights to help make it sparkle and show support for FAIR. Now, that's an inclusive charity working hard to improve the experience of families with additional supports need children and young people across the whole of Oban, Lorne and the Isles. So if you've got a spare set of lights or anything twinkly, your own Christmas tree is going to be too crowded, take it on down and add it, and let's make that shine. And on Mull, well, Mull is hoping to bring back 2 nature awards from a sparkly dazzly, we're all sparkle and dazzle this week, aren't we? From a prize-giving ceremony in Edinburgh tomorrow. The island's retired RSPB officer Dave Sexton and wildlife eco-tour business Nature Scott are both finalists at this year's Nature of Scotland Awards. So good luck to them both. Can't wait to find out how they get on. And improvements to popular forestry parking spots in Bridge of Orkney and Glen Lochy are helping curb road danger. The increased parking spaces at those sites, including Strone Hill, that's near Dalmally, mean that fewer vehicles will be pulling up by the side of the road, says Forestry and Land Scotland. So that money for that's come from the Scottish Government's Rural Tourism Infrastructure Fund via Argyll and Bute Council and Visit Scotland. It means there's more car and motorhome parking spaces at car parks across the Glens. There's going to be some installation of waste disposal facilities at a couple of the sites as well. And car parks at Glenlochy and Strone Hill have now doubled in size. Hurrah! You can read more about that and more in this week's Oban Times or online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk.
Thanks, Kathy. Finally, from me, it's a wrap on this year's Oban Winter Festival, and what a magical 10 days it was. The final weekend saw visitors from all over enjoy the hilarious Dash and Dog dress-up competition, the reindeer parade from Bid for Oban, the tasty annual Haggis Festival, and much more. Pick up a copy of this week's paper or go to www.westcoasttoday.co.uk to read more about the celebrations and see lots of photos from the events. Oban Ravens female squash team is going from strength to strength, and newcomers are encouraging other ladies to come along and try out the sport. Hope Kitchen is giving out Christmas goodie bags to over 400 people in Oban, Lorne and the Isles this year. Can you donate a present to put a smile on someone's face this Christmas? And in this week's Lochaber Times, Fort William and Ardnamurchan have voted in a new councillor, and businesses in Fort William have voted yes for a business improvements district. That's all from us this week, so pick up a copy of this week's OT or subscribe online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk. Goodbye from me, Jodie Hagan.
Goodbye from me, Sandy Neal.
Goodbye from me, Owen Wild.
And goodbye from me, Kathy Griffiths.
Bye.
Hey, hey.